Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives. Not just the latest episode. All free at gcnlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Watch the greenbacks tumble.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked? Here we go. Your dial set correctly to USAPrepares.com. Broadcasting 2 hours from the Ozark Mountains right here in Missouri. And if you'd like to call us, we'll pay for your call. 866-582-9933. 866-582-9933. There's a link to your instructors on the website, usaprepares.com. John is engineering the broadcast in Minnesota, and I'm delighted to welcome your newest instructor. And for those of you who are new to the class, there are about 200 of us here at USA Prepares. And the instructors are experts in various areas. All are innovators. We're dentists and medical doctors, engineers, surgeons, CEOs, broadcasters, editors, authors, researchers, physicists, programmers, farmers. And none of us is capable of holding down a job. I'm delighted to introduce to you James Todd. James Todd is not an attorney, and we're going to be talking about Law 101, the first in the series. Welcome, James Todd.
I'm glad to be here.
Great. So you've spent 10 years in labor law. You've represented yourself in court. You've cross-examined witnesses. And today we're going to talk about how we got here, how we got in this morass, and this legal morass, and who sold us out, and what do we do when we're pulled over by the cops, the Blue Plague. So those are some of the things that we're going to talk about. Would you like to start with how we got here?
Okay. First of all, I coined the phrase, the best slave is the one that thinks he's free. And I think that's appropriate. We're basically enslaved by the corporation, and we don't know it. If you look at Article 13 of the Constitution, it says, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for a crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall have exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. And so what happens is you have to volunteer. So the key thing in this whole discussion is that you have to volunteer to be under their jurisdiction. And why is that? Well, we'll go and explore that. The paper that I want to be talking about is Lawfully Yours, the People's Empowerment Guide to Our Corporate Commercial Legal System. And why should you listen to me or be concerned about this paper? Well, the basic reason is that the people involved in writing the paper are pretty highly qualified. Judge Dale, retired, is the biggest contributor to the paper. There are several others. BarefootWorld.com contributed some. Robert Gillum, Terry Hinkle, Attorney Karen Hudges, Paul Capey, Judge John Fitzgerald Malloy, retired, Frank O'Connor from Australia, Attorney Melvin Stapler, former Representative James Treffant, Jeanette Tiffel, and Al Whitney. And these all are the people that contributed to it. And this paper can be found on anticorruptionsociety.com. And that's a requirement. I have to acknowledge where the information came from in order to use their material. So how did we get here? Well, it started way back right after the Civil War. And what happened then? Well, right after the Civil War, we had a Reconstruction Act was passed right after the Civil War, and basically what it said was that no states can secede from the Union, so that you're locked in. And in addition, it allowed the United States government to be the supreme law of the land, is one of the things that was there. And then the Act of 1871 actually changed the title of the Constitution. And this was the second thing that in the move to make us into a corporation. And so the original title of the Constitution was, the capital C on Constitution was C, capital C, and then Constitution for the United States is what the original one was, and United with small letters. Well, they changed that to Constitution of the United States in all caps. And there's a reason for that. All through my article, we talk about all caps names, and they have a special reason to have all caps names. And so that was one thing. That happened quite some time ago. Well, the Articles of Incorporation for the United States actually were signed and filed on July 15th of 1925. And all these corporations, the United States and all the various states became corporations, and you can check their names at Dun and Bradstreet. There are entities in there, and so you can verify that. So what else happened? Well, later on, FDR incorporated a bunch of laws that were admiralty laws and maritime law. And then after he had done that, in 1933, the Internal Revenue Service incorporated itself. And of course, everybody knows that in 1913, we got the Federal Reserve Bank. And so those things, and that's a private corporation. So those were some of the things that happened. Then, to move us forward, in 1952 and in 1958, the Uniform Commercial Code was enacted, and they used that. And so I got a little bit ahead of myself. There was another thing that happened that we need to know about, and that was what happened to the lawyers? How come we can't help people out and represent other people in court? Well, they solved that problem. The state of Illinois, in about 1909, filed a law that no one could represent anybody in court without being a member of the American Bar Association. And so that started. Every state and everybody else decided to follow suit. And the American Bar Association really is an offshoot of the London Lawyers Guild. And so that was in 1909. So some of these things, they just stacked up, and different things happened that caused us to be where we are today. And so that's a little bit of the history of what happened. And so in order to interact with the police, you have to realize that you're dealing with a corporation. And that was a surprise to me, that I was actually dealing with a corporation when I dealt with the police. So what do you do when you get pulled over? Well, first of all, you have to remember one basic thing about the police. Well, several basic things. The first thing you need to know is that the police can lie to you, but you can't lie to the police. The courts have ruled that if you lie to the police, why, that's a crime. But if they lie to you, it's okay. And so you need to know that. The second thing is that you need to know that they're just doing their job, and they really don't understand that they're a corporate employee at all. And they don't understand the situation. So what you've got is typically when you get pulled over, you get a citation. And they're citing you for some thing that you did that is what they consider breaking the law. And so what do you do about that? Well, they're going to ask you to sign that citation. And if you refuse, they're not going to be very happy. So you'll probably have to sign it. And so when you sign it, underneath your signature, you put "without prejudice," and then below it or next to it, those words, you write UCC 1-308. And what that means is you're under the Uniform Commercial Code. Everything is commercial because you're dealing with a commercial entity. And if they don't explain in detail what's there that you signed, well, then it's null and void. Your signature doesn't really mean much. But in addition to that, you need to have in your possession a notice that you have them sign. And that notice says, a notice at the top, this is a lawful notice of non-consent. And then facts, and then number one, all law enforcement employees in the United States work for private corporations listed on Dun and Bradstreet that use private commercial script, which is Federal Reserve notes, and are therefore bound by the laws of contracts, UCC. See, the Clearfield Doctrine. Clearfield was a court ruling by the Supreme Court, the only two courts in the country that are courts of the Constitution is the Supreme Court and the International Court of Trades, because nobody will sign a trade agreement with us unless they had some way of enforcing it. And we didn't agree to join in with the court over in The Hague, and so that's it.
James Todd's with us. Law 101 is doing a brilliant job of explaining to us some of the basics of how we got here and what we should do. And we're going to continue this discussion for this hour at USAPrepares.com. I'm Vincent Finelli. We'll be right back. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from IronEdison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of IronEdison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our IronEdison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at IronEdison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Are you still looking for that one iodine that you can really trust? A medical doctor-endorsed product that is backed by honest research and true integrative science? Then search no further. Go to NutriMedical.com for Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutriodine, proven time and time again to be the very best iodine available for you. Nutriodine is the only Tesla-activated monatomic plasma iodine in the world. It optimizes mitochondrial function and generation of new mitochondria, from totally neutralizing the venom from a desert recluse spider bite in Southern California to eliminating malaria parasites reported by medical missionaries in central India. Dr. Bill's Nutriodine is simply the most powerful healing formula there is. Nutriodine clears the body of all known pathogens, restores it to an alkaline state, and even promotes stem cell regeneration. Order Dr. Bill's Nutriodine today at 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com.
Are you looking to sell body armor? Want to make extra money selling body armor at your local gun shows? With low minimum buys and great returns, Katie Armor is the answer. Make money in your spare time. It's American-made body armor with the quickest turnaround in the industry, which means you get your product when you need it at very competitive rates. And they'll ship it to you for free. If you own a business, give them a call today at 855-488-KATIE. That's 855-488-2284. Or go to katiearmor.com. Come and take it.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
75 years ago, America suffered one of the worst moments in American history, the attack on Pearl Harbor. Now you can remember December 7th, 1941, with the purchase of the first ever 75th anniversary Pearl Harbor legal tender solid gold coin from the U.S. Money Reserve. Call 1-800-490-3200 right now for the official 75th anniversary Pearl Harbor legal tender gold coin from the U.S. Money Reserve, the only company authorized to distribute these 100% solid gold coins. Remember Pearl Harbor with this limited official gold release. 1-800-490-3200 or online at usmoneyreserve.com.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Class, James Todd's with us. He's not an attorney, but he's teaching us about how we got here, and that the Federal Reserve is a corporation. The police departments are corporations, and what I found out quite a while ago is that cities are corporations. And when I met with the mayor of the City of Lebanon, Missouri Corporation, I asked for a meeting CEO to CEO. And that's what we got. We got a meeting, CEO of USAPrepares.com, LC, Limited Corporation, and the City of Lebanon, Missouri Corporation. So, James Todd, you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. And the police department is the enforcement arm, the revenue arm for the city corporations. Please continue.
I won't continue reading the derivation there. It's just legalese, and it's pretty boring. I'll go on and give you an alternate route to handle citation. Basically,
okay,
after you sign the citation, you can write on your copy of it two things. I do not accept this offer to contract, and I do not consent to these procedures. And what you do is you have a certificate of service that you attach to the citation, and the certificate of service tells the conditions of the citation, what happened and where, and the very basics of what transpired to get the citation. And then you have a notary observe you signing the certificate, and the notary will put the notary stamp and their signature and everything. And then once you have it notarized, you send it back to the court of original jurisdiction, the court that you're under, and you go send it to the court, basically the county clerk, and basically they will enter that in. And the basic reason for this, and this is what you need to know, is corporations, because of the Clearfield decision between the United States and Clearfield, they showed that all these corporations can only deal in straw men. They can't deal in live persons, except if you would like to be a slave. If you sign their agreements, you are agreeing to be their slave. And so that's the way you get into slavery. And so that's the reason for the statement on your citation. that you're not agreeing to contract. If you agree to contract, then you're under their rules and regulations. And so there's been nearly 700 people in 2014 out of 100,000 that were incarcerated. Why were they incarcerated and they're in jail? Basically because they agreed to contract. And so if you agree to contract, well, you're in their system. The other thing you need to know for sure is you do not want to be on the private side of the corporate law. There's a public side and there's a private side. The courtroom is a place to be avoided at all costs if you can avoid going there. And so hopefully if you send your citation back and with this on it and everything, they'll know that you're smart and that you understand what's going on, and you may not hear any more from them. Basically, your citation will be what's called dead in the water. So what does that mean? Well, George Washington knew all about it. His memorial is at sea level, and he considered the whole country underwater. And so that was one of the ideas. In fact, there were several people that were a part of the people that wrote our Declaration of Independence and our Constitution and everything that were lawyers under the Admiralty law. And when you go in the courtroom, you look over there to the flag, and that's an Admiralty law flag because it's got the gold trim around it. That's not just decoration. There's a reason for everything that they do, and that's one of the reasons. The other problem you've got, of course, is if you go into a courtroom.
I'll tell you what. We're going into a commercial break, bottom of the hour, and tell us what we do when we come back. James Todd's with us. This is Law 101. You're tuned to USA Prepares.
By now, you know the smart way to buy emergency food storage is calories per dollar. Ready Supply Foods sells you 50% more food for your money. GMO-free, 25-year shelf life, great tasting, and free shipping. You need 2,000 calories per day under ideal conditions. Most 30-day kits don't have enough calories to sustain you for more than a week. They just don't have enough nutrition to do the job. See the comparisons for yourself at ReadySupplyFoods.com. We are the new leader in value and quality. Go to ReadySupplyFoods.com today.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
Something shocking just happened in a Coast Guard unit in San Diego. The old guys in the unit have turned the tables and are now destroying the young bucks in head-to-head fitness tests. How is this even possible? Turns out the old guys in this unit have been part of a special test group for a doctor-formulated fountain of youth drink called Patriot Power Greens. Patriot Power Greens has been so effective for many of the older soldiers that it's made their achy joints, stiff muscles, and lack of energy a thing of the past. Previously, this drink was only available to elite military units. But for a limited time, the creator of Patriot Power Greens has set aside a small number of free sample packs specifically for our conservative friends. But you must act fast. Due to the high demand from members of the Coast Guard, our supply is extremely limited right now. To claim your free samples of Patriot Power Greens, go to greens75.com. That's greens75.com. greens75.com.
Attention USA Prepares listeners. When you're on the road or have limited data or Wi-Fi, now you can listen to USA Prepares unfiltered and untapped at no extra charge on this non-federal phone number, 1-605-477-3249. Try it now to listen to USA Prepares 24/7 at no extra cost or data charges. These are not on federal lines. These are lines located on Indian reservations off the grid. Call 1-605-477-3249. No smartphones or internet needed. To hear USA Prepares untapped and off the grid, just call 1-605-477-3249.
What would your life be like if you woke up each morning with new vitality, feeling better than you have in years, and you noticed a difference in your sleeping patterns, blood sugar levels, and had a sense of well-being overall? There's something that is changing thousands of people's lives, and you could be one of them. It's called Heart and Body Extract. Sharon Harris, co-creator of Heart and Body Extract, talks about the positive effects of Heart and Body Extract.
What happens with the formula Heart and Body Extract is it's giving the body the necessary vitamins, minerals, amino acids, enzymes, and phytonutrients so the body will heal itself. And yes, the body does have the ability to balance blood pressure, balance cholesterol, clean and unclog the arteries. It can also work on balancing the circulation for diabetics. So the body is an amazing thing. It simply needs some help so it has the tools to heal itself.
Heart and Body Extract gets results. To order your 2-month supply, call now, toll free at 866-295-5305. Order online at hbextract.com.
Are you worried about how dangerous the world has become? In these days of terrorist attacks, natural disasters, or even a future collapse, you need to be medically prepared to keep your family safe. I'm Joe Alton, MD of store.doomandbloom.net, where you'll find an entire line of uniquely designed medical kits and supplies for when help is not on the way. For everything from individual first aid kits to the ultimate family medical bag, go to store.doomandbloom.net today. That's store.doomandbloom.net. You'll be glad you did.
We all know that Berkey Water Purification Systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey Water Filtration Systems. The Berkey Light Systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light System today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at goberkey.com. That's goberkey.com today.
Class, just a quick update. Chase J.P. Morgan capped ATM withdrawals at $1,000 per card for per day for non-customers, and they say that people have pulled out tens of thousands of dollars as the bank was modifying its software to allow no limit on ATM withdrawals. Additionally, this is being done under the auspices of protecting clients from criminal activity. That's hard for me to understand. That J.P. Morgan Chase is protecting its clients by limiting withdrawals of non-customers. James Todd's with us, and we're talking about being in court and the Admiralty flag and what you do. James, please continue.
Okay, basically, you have to realize that corporations can only handle a straw man, and so what does that mean to you? Well, if you notice on their court legal proceedings, they either write down your name in all caps letters, your first name, middle name, and last name, or they write down John Doe if they don't know your name. And what that means is that is your birth certificate name. And so your birth certificate is really what they can go after. They can't go after you as a red-blooded man or woman unless you agree to contract with them. Well, how do you do that? It's not only by your signature, but if you go to court and you keep your mouth shut, you're agreeing by doing nothing. If you don't protest, if you don't say nothing, like you're already locked into their system, and then things don't go well because the law is always changing in corporate law. Because you've heard the term case law. Well, every appealed case that goes through an appellate court, it creates case law, and to keep up on that is quite a job. And so that's what the lawyers make their money on. And so when you go to court representing yourself, you'll have to realize that you're going to have a lot of people that are not going to like you, and they are going to try to intimidate you. The court is really a place of intimidation of the people, because when you go to court, you're intimidated just by the atmosphere there. So what do you do when they say that you're charged with this or that, and they want you to respond? The judge wants to get a response from you. What do you do? Well, you have to have this written down, and you can get it from the Anti-Corruption Society paper that I'm reading from, or you can, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but you have to get this, and you have to do it correctly. And they'll try to stop you in the middle of it so that you won't get it all done, because you may not know, but what happens is that there's a trust that's been created when you were born, and under your birth certificate, and there's lots of money in it, and there's about 15 to 20 people all combined in each one of these trusts, and so they're getting money off of you. And so anyway, that's the reason your birth certificate is so important. And what do you do to get control of the thing? Well, you can file a fictitious name report with the Secretary of State of your state, and you can ask to get ownership of your birth certificate name. And so you write on the first line of the form your birth certificate name in all caps, just like it would appear on any kind of legal document. And then you sign it down at the bottom, without prejudice, UCC 1-308. But then again, you also get a notary to notarize your signature, and you have that attached to it, and then you send it to the Secretary of State's office of your state to get ownership of your name. So when you come into the court, what do you say? I'm making a specific limited appearance on behalf of the defendant, because see, they can't go after people that are red-blooded citizens because they're a corporation who is right here and hold up your birth certificate. Then you tell them, as I understand this process, Judge, the county attorney or police officer has leveled a criminal charge with the clerk and against the trust using the all caps name that appears on this birth certificate. The use of capital letters is dictated by the U.S. Printing Style Manual, which explains how to identify a corporation. The clerk, who is the administrator of the Cresta Coup Trust, which is French, and I didn't pronounce it right, but I checked the law dictionary and it's there, appointed you, Judge, as the trustee for the trust. And since neither of you can be a beneficiary, that leaves me, and therefore you are my trustee. And he won't like that. So as my trustee, I instruct you to discharge this entire matter with prejudice and award the penalties for these crimes to be paid to me in compensation and damages for my false arrest. And it ends up under corporate law. Law enforcement officers can be individually sued for damages, that they're individually responsible for what they do, and that's a part of what was on the other sheet that I was about to read. That was a little bit long. But anyway, that's one of the things that you need to know when you go in there. So you're going to have to pay a small fee to get your name, to buy your name. And anyway, it usually is only for a few years that you get it, about $7 or $10 or something. But you have to refile or resubmit it every 5 years so that you'll keep ownership of your own name. And so there's a few other things. You have to fill out an affidavit. And one of the things you have to remember in court, never be on the private side of the corporation. And so that means that if you've noticed in court, the judge will open up the court and he'll call the roll and everything just to see who all's there and all this stuff. Then he says, we're going to recess for a while. Then he goes to his chambers and the lawyers hop up and they go heading back to the back room too. And that's called the private side of the law happens. And you want to make sure that you never go to the private side of the law, because there's no real rules on the private side of the law. They don't even have to worry about corporate rules when they go back there and wheel and deal. So you want to make sure that everything you do is on the public side of the law, or public side of the corporation. And so you want to make sure that anything you do is recorded with the clerk. You can make a affidavit, or you can make a statement, and you can have it recorded with the county clerk. And so that makes it public. It's a public disclosure. And so you want to keep everything that you do in regards to the court public. And you need to let the judge know if he tries to send you back to his chambers or something, that you're interested in not dealing with the corporation on the private side of the law, because you'll be in deep trouble if you do that, because they have they make their money that way, and they do not want you to get into the trust and get the money. They really don't. And so they'll do everything they can, and it's my understanding that the prosecuting attorney, if he loses a case, he has to pay the court costs. And so he's not going to take a case he doesn't think he can win, because it comes out of his pocket. But if you lose and you go to jail, well, then they win and they get money out of your trust. And a lot of times, it's my understanding that at least in some places, they don't have to pay taxes on that, or they don't pay taxes on it. And so that's another thing that you need to know. But the basic underlying thing is that we've got a system where there's really no criminal law. It's all contract law in the corporation. And so anyway, that's a starting point. And so I guess I could take some questions. You have some questions, Vince?
I do. And I was thinking about the state and marriage licenses. Can you share what your thoughts are on that with us, please?
Okay. Well, we can talk about that. Marriage licenses. Well, according to what I understand, when you get a marriage license, you're both married to the state. And if you don't believe that, try and get a divorce where you want the divorce and your spouse does not. And you'll find out that in most states you cannot get a divorce unless both people agree to the divorce. Why is that? Well, corporate law says that everybody has to agree to a contract. And so you agreed to get into the contract with the state. And so to get out of the contract, everybody concerned has to agree to get out of the contract. And so that's the reason for that. So if you want to get out of the contract, if you're really smart, you'll go to Puerto Rico. And you'll go down there, and you'll immediately get you a post office box. And within 3 days, you've established residence in Puerto Rico. And so you'll have a paralegal down there send an order to the court requesting a divorce. In about 5 days, it'll all be taken care of. And basically, they'll send a divorce decree to the other party or your spouse. And all the courts in the United States will agree to that. And so you'll basically cut the United States out of that.
James Todd's with us, Law 101. We come back, let's ask about the benefits of getting that divorce. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now, with equipment purchased from IronEdison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of IronEdison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Worried about lead, fluoride, and other contaminants in your drinking water? Get a ProPure with the Pro 1G 2.0 cleanable reusable filter and remove up to 200 contaminants. Drink water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure products, including the new ProMax shower filter. There's a ProPure for you. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details or ProPureUSA.com. That's PROPURUSA.com or 800-544-3533.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
Remember Pearl Harbor. Now you can buy, for the first time ever, the 75th anniversary Pearl Harbor legal tender solid gold coin from the U.S. Money Reserve. Call 1-800-329-6700 right now or go online to usmoneyreserve.com. 1-800-329-6700.
My computer is so slow, it's making me crazy.
I used to have that problem.
Did you quit using a computer or did you buy a new one?
No, I called Geeks On Site. They made an appointment to visit my home and showed up the same day.
You mean they didn't ask you to bring your computer to a shop? That's what happened when I called a support company.
Geeks On Site can go to your home or business or even repair your computer online. They have 24/7 emergency service.
If you're having problems with your PC or Mac, call Geeks On Site, 1-800-591-1682. Our friendly certified computer repair experts are available 24/7. Call now for a free diagnosis, 1-800-591-1682. Data recovery, virus removal, and maintenance for all laptops, desktops, printers, and networks. That's Geeks On Site for friendly certified computer repair experts available 24/7 over the phone or in your home or business. Just call 1-800-591-1682. That's 1-800-591-1682, 1-800-591-1682.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Class James Todd is with us, and there's a post on the website, usaprepares.com, relating to this particular broadcast on page 1. Miles has joined us from the United Kingdom. Welcome, Miles.
Hey, how are you doing? Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, class.
Miles,
go ahead. So, okay.
Yeah. Go ahead, please.
Okay, so I just tuned in for the last 10 minutes, and what I heard in these last 10 minutes is spot on. So I want you to pay attention, and pay attention for what might come in the next month, what might you might or somebody in class might be facing, and how to respond. And I'd like to ask for a favor here, and that would be to go more into the detailed process on what paper means what in regards of being on the public side, because you really definitely do not want to get on the private side. Private means robbed. To privare in Latin means to rob, to steal. So everything that is private or privatized is robbed or stolen from somebody. And so we definitely need more documentation on what is on the public side, how to stay on the public side, and even how judges can change from equity to trust and to admiralty law in a blink of an eye.
You're talking about something that is I don't know all that much about it. I'm just learning myself. I didn't realize I was a slave, and I'm trying to get out of it personally. What I understand is that if you're in open court, you're on the public side, and if you you need to try and stay in open court and not in the judge's chambers.
That's right. That was the only venue that was given to you, that was provided to you until you reach a certain political area where you are touching on somebody's turfs where you shall not go. So as long as it is going about some property, some statute violations, you're fine. But when you start going against, like, what is a constitution and what is a state, there are the limits and boundaries, because then you are in a different form of law. And that would be the law of conquest. And you really don't want to get into that.
I agree. That's very true. In fact, you have to have the number for the trust for your particular birth certificate, which is tied to the registration number on it to get that. And if you have that number, then you're in the power seat, as they say, because that's the key to where the judges and the attorneys get their money. And if you go there, you better be really careful, because they're not going to like that. And they'll try to mess with you.
One word of caution here. You really need to learn what you do there, and you really need to know what kind of words you use, because what it's done in these courts is word magic. So if you use a certain word and you think you are right with that word, that doesn't mean that it is right in that situation, because even then they can declare you incapable, and that would be the rest of your day then. So
yeah, that's true.
why
I agree.
That's why especially I ask you now for the favor to be very specific about what you're talking, because this is the mother lode of knowledge that everybody needs to know: how you became slaves, why you have no say in the elections, why you are only there to be milked and skimmed. And with that, I will let you go. I don't want to jump on your show here. Thank you very much for having me.
Yep.
Miles, thank you for joining us.
Well,
that was Miles
earlier.
Excuse me?
I think I covered part of that earlier before he got on.
Yeah. Miles is a senior USA Preparedness instructor. He's in the United Kingdom. He's in Europe. And class, it's really interesting how closely your instructors pay attention to what is broadcast here on USA Preparedness. We're being watched worldwide for the things that we say, the comments that we have, and the opinions that we share. James Todd, thank you so much for being with us. This was the first time that you've been on the air with us. I'm looking forward to having you back again and again and again. This is Law 101. We'll be right back after top of the hour news announcements with Dr. Carley. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details in the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all.
Everyone all set? Cocked? Locked? Here we go. Hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com. I'm delighted to introduce your newest instructor. Her name is Dr. Rebecca Carley, medical doctor. And she was trained as a general surgeon. And she left the practice of general surgery because she realized that no one was being healed of their diseases as a result of surgery. And we're going to be talking about autoimmune diseases. We're going to be talking about immunizations. And I'm delighted to be broadcasting today with your newest instructor, Dr. Rebecca Carley, MD. Welcome, Dr. Carley.
Thank you very much for having me on, Vincent.
Well, you know, I got a call off the air from another one of our instructors, Werner Bach, and he's in New Brunswick, Canada. And he asked me if I knew you, and I said no, I did not. And he said, would I consider having you on the air? And I said, absolutely. And that's when I placed the call to you, and we chatted and arranged this time for us to be broadcasting together. So, Dr. Carley, you've seen medicine from the inside. What are your concerns?
Well, I left working in the hospital in the early 1990s after witnessing euthanasia, research fraud, and experimentation on people. And I took time off. I didn't know what I was going to do. I had my only son. And I did not know about the dangers of vaccinations. And he received all his vaccinations, and he became brain damaged. And that's when I started researching how to reverse the brain damage. And that was the beginning of my protocol that I have developed, which reverses all vaccine-induced diseases in people and in pets. Using primarily homeopathic remedies, but also other nutritional supplements. And it's also very important to get people off the drugs they're on because the drugs are toxic poisons. And I've been doing this for 2 decades. And I want to point out, it's not just autism, it's every disease in internal medicine that's caused by vaccinations, including cancer, everything you can imagine. Every organ is affected by vaccinations. And in my opinion, this is the biggest epidemic that the world has ever known, which is vaccine-induced diseases.
Dr. Carley, as I'm listening to you, I'm thinking about who do I know that has not been vaccinated? I don't know anyone. When I go to Sam's Club, they have this table set up where you can receive your shingles vaccination. You can receive flu vaccinations. Vaccines are being promoted on signs in front of pharmacies. It's like, if you don't get yours, you're an idiot. And that's what we've been taught, right?
Right, and of course, this is how diseases are created, and this is all a scam promoted by Big Pharma. And it's interesting that you mentioned the shingles vaccine. If you actually look at the package insert of the shingles vaccine, it says that one of the side effects is that you will come down with chicken pox, because they're injecting you with the virus that causes chicken pox and also shingles. And so if you do your research, you will find the truth. But most people are just too busy or, just not interested in doing their research, and they go ahead and they get these injections, and they end up with all of these very serious problems.
Dr. Carley, I had a very dear friend. He was in his 80s, and he had some cancer, and he was doing fine, and it looked like he would live several years, easily. And I talked to him prior to his doctor appointment, and I said, Paul, please, they're going to want you to have a flu shot. Please don't take that flu shot. It's a killer. And he said, okay. I said, no, promise me. He said, sure, I promise. And I would go to see him for lunch, and we'd have lunch together, and this was just a couple of years ago. And so I called him after his doctor's appointment. I said, how you doing? He goes, well, you're going to be mad at me. Doctor said I needed this flu shot, and I got it. I am just so sick. He was dead in 30 days.
Well, it's very interesting, and you can check this out. Actually, check out any package insert for any vaccine. No vaccine has ever been tested to see if it causes cancer, and that's because they know they cause cancer. And this is including the HPV vaccine, Gardasil or Cervarix, which is supposed to protect you from cancer, but they actually cause cancer, amongst many other problems. And, I know how the white coats work. I've seen it in action. They intimidate you, try to coerce you into having these vaccines, because this is a standard of practice for medicine. And unfortunately, although many doctors know the truth, they would rather, sell their soul for cash than actually protect their patients. And of course, in medical school, we don't learn how to heal anything. And so, most of them go along with the program. And this is the problem, is that the doctors are actually doing the harm. That's how corrupted the medical profession has become.
Dr. Carley, I think within the next 2 weeks, I'm going to have an appointment with a doctor for a checkup, just a routine checkup, and I know what the question's going to be. Well, let's make sure you're all up to date with your vaccinations. Are you all up to date? What is the answer that I should respond with?
Well, first of all, I would ask you, why are you going for a checkup in the first place? Because what they usually do is order all kinds of tests. Every test they do is harmful. And this includes even routine blood tests, because that gives them an excuse to diagnose you with something so that they can go to the next level of quote-unquote treatment. But what I tell parents, in my opinion, and I'm all about the truth, but for example, if your child, breaks a limb or something like that, and you have to bring him to the emergency room, that's going to be one of the first questions they ask. Is your child up to date on vaccinations? And what I suggest is to just say yes. Yes, of course, they're up to date on all their vaccinations. Because if you say no, I am not, on line with this vaccination idea, next thing you know, they're going to call CPS and you will lose your child. So
By the
you
way,
have to be very careful.
You are absolutely correct about that, because one of our friends, Dr. Len Horowitz, a dentist, his children were traveling. He was on a speaking tour. His children were traveling, and one broke her arm. One of his young children broke her arm, and while he was speaking, his wife brought the child to the emergency room. And they asked that exact question about vaccinations, and she said, "No, we don't agree with them." Next thing you know, the child was taken by Child Protective Services in New York City. Literally, exactly what you're saying happened to a man whom I know, Dr. Len Horowitz, and it was really difficult for him to get his child back, just because his wife said, "No, we're not supporting the vaccine industry."
Right. And this happens all the time. And, of course, Child Protective Services makes money off kidnapping children. And they are one of the many agencies that are making money off, doing these heinous acts. And that's why parents have to become educated as to the ramifications of telling the truth to these monsters. Because if you tell the truth, you're going to have a problem. And that's why I said, what I would do if I was a listener, because of course, they stole my medical license, so I don't give medical advice. I don't practice medicine. I just tell people what I would do if I was they. But what I would do if I was you is to just say yes, they're up to date. Because if you say yes and you pretend that you're on board with this whole vaccination scam, then they'll leave you alone. But if you tell the truth, you will have a problem.
Okay, and what is your advice about those who choose to have their children indoctrinated in the public training camps, the public school system? And if a child is enrolled in a school system, a public school system, they are asked, are they up to date on their medical, are they up to date on their vaccinations and immunizations and so forth? And what we did, and I'll tell you what we did, and I'll tell you what happened, and then you can tell me what may be a better answer. Our child wanted to attend high school for the first time. He was homeschooled. All of our children were homeschooled, but when our son decided he wanted to attend high school for the first time in his education, formal education at a public training camp, he was asked about his immunizations, and so were his mother, and I was asked as well. And we said, oh, yeah, he's up to date, he's up to date. And then they wanted to prove it. They want us to prove it. And we said, you know what? Tell you what. We'll just use a religious exemption. We come back, would you tell us what your thoughts are? Dr. Carley's with us, medical doctor.
Okay.
Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now, with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
This is Sharon Hunt. Before using Heart and Body Extract, my energy level was very, very low. I could only walk a few feet and then would have to sit down. I was tired and lethargic. But after taking Heart and Body Extract, my energy level has improved greatly, and I can now walk longer distances without getting tired so fast. Thank you, Heart and Body Extract.
Learn the secrets of an effective, natural, 100% organic nutritional supplement for a healthy heart and circulation at hbextract.com.
Hi, Pat Matthews again. I want to talk to you about selling online. And when I say selling, I'm talking about your home, your car, and even buying a house or a new set of wheels. There's a new kid in town, and that's buysellmakeoffer.com. The revolution has already begun, and I invite you to be a part of it. You see, get in on the ground floor because buysellmakeoffer.com never charges item fees. Can you imagine what the other guys might charge you for selling a car on their site? Let alone a house. Well, buysellmakeoffer.com doesn't do that. And you can use Skype and YouTube videos to sell your products, big or small. Go right now to buysellmakeoffer.com and set up your account. For as little as $7.95 per month, you can sell up to 50 items. And they'll give you the first 30 days free just to try it out. Remember, no per item fees. Join the revolution today. Buysellmakeoffer.com. And tell them Pat Matthews sent you.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Blockit Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockitPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockitPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockitPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
Class, Dr. Rebecca Carley is with us, and if you'd like to go to her website, it's reversingvaccineinducedillnesses.com, and you'll be able to click on page 1 of usaprepares.com and get right to that link. Dr. Carley, so when our
let me
child...
just correct you.
Yes.
It's actually reversing vaccine-induced, INDUCED, diseases.com.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
the website.
Okay. And you'll be able to click on usaprepares.com, page number 1, and go right to that. Dr. Carley, so we did not want to go along with the vaccine program that the school was demanding. And so we were at an impasse. You know, we delayed and as long as we could. And then finally we had to use the religious exemption. And it stopped right there. Is that still an approved method for avoiding these vaccines, or does that not work anymore?
Exemptions are being removed from every state. The only exemption that's going to hold is the medical exemption, where you have to get a doctor to give you an exemption, and you'll never find a doctor that's willing to do that. So the religious exemption is on its way out.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was afraid of. So then what's left? Homeschooling, correct?
Well, that's what I would do. Unfortunately, many parents, they're working 2-3 jobs just to survive, so they can't afford to homeschool. But there's many other reasons not to put your children in school besides the vaccines. requirement. In my opinion, if you love your children, you have to find a way to homeschool.
Bo Greit said it very much the same way. He said, if you love your children, take them out of the public training camp. And, when I first heard him say that, I thought, is he serious? My dad was a principal, an acting superintendent, and many years ago, and I think he did a great job. He actually pulled out all the grades in his school. He did not have grades. He was the first principal to eliminate grading, meaning there was no first grade, second grade, third grade, 8th, 9th, 10th. Children were put in a class based on what they knew and their ability to learn. So you were in a class with your peers rather than being in a class with someone of the same number of days of life. And as soon as he left that school system and moved on to another school system, they put it back the way it was, with grades. So, Dr. Carley, I don't know anyone, I don't know a single person who has not become sick as a result of immunizations. Do you?
No, and I do consults for people and pets with vaccine-induced diseases because they're killing and maiming the pets as well. And actually on my website, on the pet page, there's an outstanding article entitled Science of Vaccine Damage, where 19 non-pharma-funded veterinarians basically found the same thing that I did, that vaccines cause every disease in internal medicine. And that's why it's so important for people to do their homework. Don't believe me, check things out for yourself. There's two very important books I want to mention. One is called Vaccines and Autoimmunity. It's edited by 3 different authors. You can get it off Amazon.com, Vaccines and Autoimmunity. And one of the missing links that I realized from getting the book I'm going to mention next is that vaccinations are also responsible for all the bullies that we're seeing, because the part of the brain that controls behavior is also damaged by vaccinations. And that book is Vaccination, Social Violence, and Criminality, The Medical Assault on the American Brain. The author is Harris L. Coulter, Coulter, and that's something I didn't realize until I received his book. And it just gives you an overview of how pervasive this damage is. Of course, we all know that there's an epidemic of children being bullied in school. Well, those children that are bullying are vaccine damaged. And,
yep. And they grow up to be cops, don't they? We'll be right back. Dr. Carley's with us.
Yes.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today. Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
As if chlorine in our water weren't bad enough, now they're adding ammonia?
It's true. Some municipalities are now adding ammonia plus chlorine to your water supply. It's a disinfectant called chloramine. But with a trusted Big Berkey water filter, you can keep chloramine out of your water. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show EPA Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market, the gold standard in water purification. And our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
Remember Pearl Harbor. Now you can buy, for the first time ever, the 75th anniversary Pearl Harbor legal tender solid gold coin from the U.S. Money Reserve. Call 1-800-329-6700 right now or go online to usmoneyreserve.com. 1-800-329-6700.
My name is Don Wiskin. In 1994, I lost my 62-year-old father to complications of bypass surgery. In 1977, my 44-year-old brother was found dead in his apartment. He suffered a heart attack. In January of 98, my mother had a stroke and passed away in her bed. 21 days later, my 53-year-old brother passed away on his arrival to the hospital. He waited too long. In June that same year, I almost joined them at 42. What did I do? I took a 7-herb formula I now call Extendivite, made from garlic, cayenne, bilberry, ginkgo biloba, hawthorn, milk thistle, and valerian. Based on German studies of natural medicine, Extendivite is designed to clear blocked arteries, clean the toxins from your blood, and improve your immune system. To get your Extendivite, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit our website, heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details in the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Yes, Dr. Carley is with us, and we're talking about vaccine-induced bullies. Dr. Carley, there's a post on the internet today. There were 4 cops in Las Vegas with their canine German Shepherd. And there was a suspect, a single man, and the cops drew their guns on the suspect. And the cops, the sergeant releases the German Shepherd. The German Shepherd runs toward the suspect. Now, we're not talking about someone who's guilty. We're just talking about a suspect. So the German Shepherd is racing toward, and it looks like he's going to attack this man, the suspect. So the man pulls out his gun. He didn't have his gun out. He pulls out his gun to defend himself from this racing German Shepherd coming toward him. And the cops shoot the suspect. 4 cops shoot the suspect, and they shoot their own dog. This is the kind of stuff that we're seeing more and more every day. Police brutality, police attacking us, police believing that we are guilty of all kinds of crimes. They just have to figure out which one. before they throw us down on the ground and handcuff us and beat us up and tase us. And are you saying that these things are induced by vaccines, this kind of behavior?
Well, the police are required to get vaccines to begin with. I know that they have to get the hepatitis B vaccine. They're probably also required to get the flu vaccine. But one of the main problems is that many of the police are ex-military, and there's no group more vaccinated than the military. In fact, there's more deaths from vaccines in the military than there even is from gunfire. So it's multi-level. But yes, there's no question that this is going on. And of course, I live in North Carolina. We have many instances of police shootings here. And almost never is a police officer found guilty of any, wrongdoing in these cases. They just get a pass. And, this is the world in which we live.
Yeah, and it's unacceptable. As you were talking about vaccine-induced illnesses, I was thinking about respiratory diseases. I see so many young people in high school, and they pull out their rescue inhalers. It's almost like it's candy that they carry these around with them, and they use them way, way, way more often than I would think would be normal. Are you thinking that asthma and respiratory diseases are related to vaccinations?
I know they are, because those are some of the many diseases I reverse with my protocol. Not to mention the fact that many of these inhalers have steroids in them. And steroids are given for so many things. Steroids are very dangerous. They actually shut off the immune system. So that is one of the most dangerous drugs that we have, is steroids. In fact, I've had a few clients with brain cancer, and they give them steroids, claiming that that's going to decrease the intracranial pressure caused by the tumor, when in fact the steroids actually make the tumors grow faster. So, yes, when I was in school, I'm 62. When I was in school, we had one school nurse. She traveled through many counties. You would go to the school nurse if you had a stomach ache or whatever. Now they have school nurses in every school, and that's basically what they do, is monitor, the medication given to the students. One of the most heinous situations we have is the situations where children have potential for anaphylactic shock, and they give them these EpiPens. In fact, peanut allergies are a big cause of this. There are children that go into anaphylactic shock if they sit in a cafeteria and just smell a peanut butter sandwich of somebody, at their table or whatever. And I learned in my research that they've been putting peanut compounds in vaccines as well. So they're causing these problems to happen. This is genocide. There's no question about it, and it's very heinous. And that's why I encourage everybody to do their research about these issues, because you will find what I have found. And there's no question about it that this is being done on purpose.
There's a post on the internet right this moment about a Manhattan high school student, 17 years old. She leaves the lunch hour and kills herself on the subway tracks. Why? Because she was being bullied by classmates. So who's responsible for this? These suicides. We've talked about many times about the number of veterans who are committing suicide. It's an epidemic. And it almost seems like this is something that the other team, the government team, is looking forward to. You know, the amount of us taking our own lives because we're either being bullied or we're being stressed or we're financially under the gun. And so we just end it. And I think they cheer each time that happens to one of us. And the interesting thing is, what you're saying, Dr. Carley, is they're the cause of it through these vaccinations.
Well, not just vaccinations. Many drugs have suicidal side effects as well. But the main point is that this is being done on purpose. This is depopulation, and it's self-evident that that's what's going on. And who's responsible? Well, the government is involved. Big Pharma is involved. As a matter of fact, I want to bring up another very important website, anticorruptionsociety.com, anticorruptionsociety.com, which is a website that was made by another RBN broadcaster, Al Whitney, who has a show on Saturdays from 8 to 10 p.m. called In Defense of Humanity. If you go to that website and you click on a document at the top of the site called Lawfully Yours, you will learn through work done by a federal Judge Dale, who actually left the bench because he figured out that the reason that all this corruption and fraud is going on is because all courts, all agencies, all levels of government, all police departments, you name it, they're all for-profit corporations traded on Dun & Bradstreet. So we're not dealing with a constitution here. Our country went bankrupt in 1933, and since that time, we've been a massive corporation. And that's a very important realization that people have to make. These agencies like the CDC and the FDA, they're not there to protect you. They're there to make money. And the way they make money is by harming people. And, you know, this is why you can't trust the propaganda that you're getting from these agencies, because they have an ulterior motive.
Dr. Carley, the hour that we spent today, we broadcast 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. We introduced our newest instructor just before you joined. You are the newest now, but 1 hour before you joined the airwaves with us. James Todd from Missouri joined us, and that is exactly what he spoke about, the anticorruptionsociety.com. And there's a link to what Dr. Carley and James Todd were talking about on page 1 of usaprepares.com if you'd like to go to that website. The link is right there. Dr. Carley, so we've talked about asthma, we've talked about bullies, and we've talked about autism. How do we reverse these diseases? What is your protocol?
Well, if it was just one simplistic thing, I would just write a book, this is how you reverse whatever. But it's not simplistic. It depends. It's not just vaccinations. We're being poisoned in so many ways. Pesticides, fluoride, aspartame, the list is endless. So when I do consults for people, I take a detailed history. I determine what their toxic exposure is. And if they're on drugs, that's another big concern. They have to be weaned off the drugs, and a natural alternative has to be substituted. So that's how I do consults, is to, determine what's going on with each individual person. And, of course, the reason they invented insurance was to try to force people to go the big pharma way. Nothing that works is covered by insurance. So this is a major problem for people, is to, understand they have to pay out of pocket, to be truly healed. And everybody's broke now. That's also being done on purpose. And so many people can't afford to do that. So they go to the white coats and they get sicker and sicker and eventually die. And this is just the way it is.
Dr. Carley, there are three people I can think of just off the top of the bat, or top of my head. One of our instructors has kidney cancer, and he is contemplating surgery. Another one has a spot on his lung. Another one has multiple cancers. Are you suggesting that you can help cure with your information?
Well, you're not allowed to use the cure word when you're using natural therapies.
How about put them back to where they were before they got these?
I can reverse these diseases. I reversed many cases of cancer.
Okay, and when we come back, would you share with us how we get in touch with you? Dr. Carley's with us, medical doctor. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
75 years ago, America suffered one of the worst moments in American history, the attack on Pearl Harbor. Now you can remember December 7th, 1941, with the purchase of the first ever 75th anniversary Pearl Harbor legal tender solid gold coin from the U.S. Money Reserve. Call 1-800-490-3200 right now for the official 75th anniversary Pearl Harbor legal tender gold coin from the U.S. Money Reserve, the only company authorized to distribute these 100% solid gold coins. Remember Pearl Harbor with this limited official gold release. 1-800-490-3200 or online at usmoneyreserve.com.
Hey guys, Pat Matthews here to tell you about the newest and best way to sell products online. It's buysellmakeoffer.com, an enormously revolutionary way to sell your stuff online. It's time to clean out the garage, your old golf clubs, sports equipment, tools, and yes, even your car. Forget about the way the other guys have taken more than their share from you when the sales were finalized. Look, it's happened to me over and over and over. Then I found buysellmakeoffer.com. They will never charge you item fees. Just go there right now to sign up and load all your stuff to our server to sell. This is not an auction site. Sell your car, sell your home. Realtor, sign up now. Just use our resources along with Skype and videos, then add your creativity to sell your items quickly and with no fees. Go right now to buysellmakeoffer.com and sign up. The excitement is building. I've signed up to sell my stuff with buysellmakeoffer.com. You should too. buysellmakeoffer.com.
For the most amazing, calming, brain-stabilizing, blood sugar, and natural addiction-breaking formula, try CalMind. Anxiety melts, panic is gone, sleep is restful, and you'll stay calm during stress. Better than booze, mind-altering drugs, or anti-anxiety, antidepressant, toxic medications, CalMind lubricates your mind so you'll sail through the day effortlessly. Order Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutridyne at 888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com and listen to the NutriMedical Report every weekday on the GCN Radio Network. NutriMedical, bringing nutrition and medicine together.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
Is there a difference in body armor? You bet there is. Quality, warranty, price. Get it all from Patriot Armor. Veteran-owned and operated Patriot Armor plates are made in America. Extensively tested, independent lab certified. Come in many options and protection levels with a lifetime warranty on our steel armor plates and Viper plate carriers. Plus, industry-leading prices starting at just $149.99. Click PatriotArmorDefense.com or call 727-280-7146. When your life depends on it, trust no other. Patriot Armor.
Class, Dr. Rebecca Carley is with us, medical doctor, and we've been talking about diseases, and we've been talking about how you're injected with these compounds that cause diseases, and we've been talking about you can reverse them, according to Dr. Carley. And Dr. Carley, how do we get in touch with you?
As we mentioned, my website is reversingvaccineinduceddiseases.com. On the services tab, it explains how I do consults. My Skype username is drcarley, C-A-R-L-E-Y 1. That's how my international clients usually converse with me. My email is drcarley@gmail.com. My phone number is 828-294-0662, 828-294-0662. I take calls from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time any day of the week. I have no days off. I work every day, including holidays, because this is such a massive undertaking. There's so many people that need help. It's really amazing. And as I said, if they go to their white coats, they will be made sicker and eventually die. And that's what people have to realize. Yes, you have to pay out of pocket to do natural things. So your choice is to do that or to basically get sick and die. Those are your options. And that's hard for some people to face, but that's just the way it is. The doctors are not doing the right thing. As a matter of fact, I rewrote the Hippocraticals into the Hypocriticals, where instead of first doing no harm, all they do is harm. And, that's why people have to protect themselves and educate themselves. As I always say, don't believe me, check things out for yourself. Because once you check things out for yourself, you will realize that I know what I'm talking about after 2 decades of research. And there's a lot of good information out there. When my son was born 20 years ago plus, I didn't have access to this information on vaccines. That's why I allowed him to be vaccinated. That's how he became brain damaged, and that's what started me learning how to reverse the brain damage and all the other damage. So that's very important for people to realize. I also want to mention, I always like to emphasize the pets as well. What people don't realize is that small breeds like, say, a Chihuahua, they get the same dose of vaccines as a Husky does. And so there's no, decrease in the amount of vaccine given for the smaller breeds, and that's why the smaller breeds are dropping like flies. So if you love your pet, you better, reconsider getting them vaccinated. And I mentioned that document Science of Vaccine Damage on the pet page of my website. You better check that out. I also have the package insert for the rabies vaccine on there, and in the package insert, you can read for yourself, it actually says that the tissue culture used to make the vaccine causes autoimmune disease. Now, this is the only place I've ever seen that admitted, but it's true for all the vaccines, because it's not just the viruses that are causing a problem. They are growing these viruses in all kinds of, cells, including aborted fetuses. And once you get one of those tissues injected into you, you're going to be immune or develop an autoimmune reaction to that tissue.
Dr. Carley, I'm looking forward to broadcasting with you again and again. And we talked during the break about doing that. Last, you're going to see Dr. Carley here quite often. And please visit her website. The link is on page 1 of usaprepares.com. Dr. Carley, thank you so much for sharing this information with us. It's been an eye-opener for many, I know. Class, above all, honesty and integrity. What happens next is up to you. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.